3-0. The designation goes from 8, number 8, 76543210, 102030. So this is still a fairly fine blade. 8 is the coarsest, 80 is the finest, which is finer than a human hair. Now, the rule of thumb is 3 teeth on the edge of the material. Yeah? This 3-0 should be a good blade for 0.7 thick material. So what you do is you rest your saw with this on your bench peg, with this against your chest. Yeah, this gives you both hands to put the blade in. The teeth need to be facing up and angled towards you, towards the handle. You should be able to run your finger sorry, you should be able to run your finger down the blade and not have it catch. If you do that, very gently run your finger down the blade, because this is bloody sharp. If it's in the wrong way, it'll cut you. What I'm going to try to do is to teach you how to use this without cutting yourself. So, undo the thumb screws, put the end of the saw blade in snug down. Yeah, check to make sure that the teeth are going in the correct direction. Lean against the handle, put the second bit in and tighten it, and it should have a nice ping. If it's too tight or if it's too loose, as soon as you start sawing, it'll break. Yeah. So now, loosen that, run it through one of the holes that you've drilled, put that all the way up at the top, and it's self-supporting so that you can tighten, insert and tighten your blade. Yeah. Now, when you're sawing, gentle pressure on the handle, gentle pressure forward. Don't try to ever force the blade to do anything, because it'll just break the blade. Yeah. So what we're going to do is gently move the saw up and down, gentle pressure forward, and turn the material and or the saw, keeping it over this cut in your bench peg, so that you follow the line. Get a nice steady rhythm. When it's time to turn, don't push forward at all. Keep the saw moving and slowly move the piece, and you'll find that the saw will actually turn in its own length. When your piece falls out, undo the blade, go to the next hole. And you can see I'm just holding this with my fingertips. Yeah? So it doesn't take a lot of pressure to do anything with the saw blade. Next hole. You can hear when I'm turning it that the blade isn't actually cutting. So continue until all of your little spots are cut out. Now in this pattern, you can see that there's a white line here. Well, this is just to designate that that goes over the top. So what you want to do is make sure that you don't cut in that white area. Yeah, just make sure that you just cut these inside bits out. Don't go into that area where it crosses over. I'll show you what to do with that after. What you might do is you might cut the outside bit out first. So just stay just to the outside. And that way you'll practice using your saw, getting a little more accurate before you actually go to the inside. Now, as you're sawing, try to keep your blade straight up and down. And when you're sawing to a point, saw to the point, stop, back out, and come from the other side. That way you have a nice point where if you try to go in and turn your saw, it'll be slightly rounded. And when you're filing to a point, stop a little bit short. If you cut too far, there's no fixing it. Yeah. Once your saw goes to a certain point, you've got a saw mark. So stop a little bit short and just come into it easy. Here the magpies have something to say. When I first came to Australia, that was one of the first bird noises I heard, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I like it. I like their little song. As you're sawing, make sure that you hold the piece nice and tight against your peg. If your metal is jumping up and down like this as you're trying to saw, the blade's just going to break. Make sure that you're holding it nice and tight. You can have your fingers in front of the blade as long as you don't touch the blade. You can have your fingers right behind the blade. In fact, as you can even be touching it because it's smooth, it won't cut you. The only time you have to worry is if you're sawing through a piece, then you make sure that your finger's not on the other side as the saw comes through. But when you're sawing in an enclosed space like this, you can have your fingers anywhere. when you get all of the pieces cut out, turn it over, look at the back, because the front will tell you everything's beautiful, but look at the back. And at this point, we're going to take our jeweler's files, Swiss number 2 cut, and we're going to tidy this up.